Good morning, you're watching Everyday Struggle on Complex News. I'm Nadeska here with Star and DJ Akademiks. Good morning.
Hey,
how you guys doing?
Hey, good to see you.
That was so serious. How you doing?
I'm actually in a great mood.
Listen, I am in a great mood too. I'm in a great mood. I got a flight that leaves to LA right after the show, and I'm ready to debate.
Big business.
Hollywood act.
Bullshit or business?
Nah, always business.
Okay.
I'm not leaving my house for anything other than.
And you don't leave the house too much, you said, right?
For women in business.
Okay.
That's it. I like keeping it. Don't want to go to concerts that much, you know.
All right, well, before you get on this flight, let's clear up some issues that you may or may not have with Mike Will. So yesterday we talked about.
They might be at LAX.
I mean, I hope there's no issues. We
My
talked
plane
about.
already landed, Chops. This episode goes late. I'm already in LA.
We talked about Jxmmi Life 3 yesterday. It's going to be
Yeah.
a triple disc project. And you said that you would probably prefer Slim Jxmmi and Sway Lee to release albums individually. It seems like Michael didn't necessarily like that comment, but I know that you do respect them, so I don't think there's any shade here, right?
You were hating. You
believe that was hate?
Yeah.
I would like for you to explain the hate, because I think he's feeling the same way, so go.
You were hating because you are going into that realm of being an artist. I mean, I can't say for certain if it was player hating, but you took a shot. And as we said, this is what the newer generation has to do to maneuver through the genre. But he got at you, yes?
Yeah. Critiquing is never hating to me. I mean, listen, first of all, as a fan, and again, we did the whole difference between a hater, fan, and a stan. I'm a fan, but I also have criticisms of people, like not because I like your stuff.
Right.
And by the way, MikeWillMadeIt is a guy who I've talked to personally on the phone before. I love Slim Jxmmi, I love Sway Lee. However, I am going to have critiques, just like fans should.
Right.
If you're just a blind, dumb robot just absorbing whatever they give, you're not doing anything. Now, the statement I made, I think is more than fair.
Okay.
The fact that Jxmmi Life 1 and 2 were, and he says Jxmmi Life 3 is going to be a classic masterpiece. Both of those albums were top tier, right? But it was a group effort. We don't know how a Slim Jxmmi solo project is going to sound. We don't even know what a Sway Lee solo project is going to sound like, even though people have been clamoring for him. Now, I was just saying, for Jxmmi Life 3, keep it in the legacy, as a fan,
Right.
I think they should drop that without the solo projects. Now, clearly, he took offense to it, which I think him taking offense probably means other things.
So he got at you on Twitter, yes?
Yeah, I mean,
They went back and forth for a little. I tried to explain himself.
Well, we could read the tweet.
Please.
Yeah, let's pull it up
get to
again.
the
So
monkey shit.
let's
The first one.
his initial tweet.
Get right to
Where
it.
he says, "Man, Akademiks, I hope that wasn't shade you were trying to throw on your struggle show about this Jxmmi Life 3."
This was tweet. I think this was shade. He was trying to throw a little shade on the show. But if he thought that was shade, clearly he doesn't know the difference between the shade or just being out in the open or shit. Maybe he just doesn't know the difference between criticism and really hating.
Can you clarify the prayer emojis? Is he praying for your safety, or is he just praying that you make better statements?
Bro, I don't know. Ever since Drake started his 6 God bullshit, everybody just puts that, bro. I send it even that nonsense.
Okay.
All right, how about
That
this? So
shouldn't
him
be
saying Jxmmi Life 3 is a classic masterpiece that we spent our time and energy on. Hold your opinions till the release. So look, we'll say this. Your opinion matters because you have a big fan base, right? So people are going to be influenced, but that doesn't take away anything. If this is an excellent project, your opinion just doesn't matter,
Michael,
right?
you were in your feelings yesterday, bro. And I love Michael. I'm going to love him after this, but, bro, you were super in your feelings. We've discussed Ray Jxmmi on many occasions. We've projected what we think they would be doing. Shit, at one point, I mean, when Joe was here, he was predicting that they were going to break up, right? Again, he was definitely in his feelings because immediately after that tweet, he's like, who are you? And clearly, if you're watching my show, clearly if you're looking me up on Twitter at me to complain about what I said, asking who am I to make those statements means, number one, you already know.
I'm not arguing just for the sake of arguing.
And number two, because he did try to clean it up, saying, "Oh well, you maybe don't have, you don't know what."
Right.
Listen,
Okay.
you're invited to come up here to defend yourself, but you sounded stupid yesterday on Twitter. In your feelings, it's the same reason why you're watching now. And I'm not going to take back what I said. It's my opinion.
Okay,
Just like
if
every
you're standing
fan
on
has-
what you said, cool. And I'm not going to argue just for the sake of arguing. I think he has a good point. Sometimes you have to just wait until it gets into the system. Then formulate your opinion. If you comment too fast, why are you trying to derail something that could be a classic, or why are you trying to change the narrative so soon?
Okay.
Do you think
No, wait,
saying
wait.
that is going to influence
No,
so
no,
many
no, no,
people
no.
to change their mind,
I
even
mean,
if
never
it's
mind, never
excellent,
mind,
all
never mind.
three?
Exactly.
three-
Keyword you just said, influence. The greatest power is influence. If you're shitting on something off the top before it even comes out,
Did I shit on it?
that could be player hating.
And that's my biggest problem with this. Nobody said it wasn't going to be good. I just said I didn't want it. And I never said it was going to be whack. That would be completely different. I'm like, yo, oh, this shit's going to be whack. I said as a listener, I don't want to hear that. That's a personal choice. Now, I didn't even say it was good or not going to be good. I wouldn't make such a bold and daring statement, never hearing anything from that project. Well, we did hear some snippets. Don't know if they make the project, but I wouldn't come out and say, yo, this shit's going to be whack. So that's what I'm saying. He was in his feelings. He's clearly in his feelings.
Anything else? Did he make any other statements or anything that should be perceived as aggressive?
No, well, I'm just, what I got from that is that, and that's this, like we spoke about before, I do think there's probably some sign of like, probably pressure that they might be feeling.
Niggas might be at LAX. When you flying out today?
No. Well, no. In terms of me echoing that statement might not be the first time he's heard it.
Gotcha.
You get me? So maybe just saying, okay, you saying it now, let me just address that off the top. However, I do think they're going to put out a good body of work.
Yeah.
Again, I still don't want to hear 3 albums in one.
But then there's a chance that it comes out and you're like, I was wrong. This is excellent as 3 albums in one. I want to listen to every track. You just have to see how it goes, right?
I'm not going to lie. Anything over 30 tracks these days, I'm really not trying to hear. I'm just, again, I'm not saying it's not good. I just want to hear.
And you still say Culture 2 is shit, yes?
I didn't say it was shit. It was definitely mediocre.
Oh, pardon.
It was mediocre. That's not.
Are you enjoying the album? Have you been listening?
Culture 2?
Yeah.
Fire!
Is it classic to you?
Fire! I was riding around last night. Saucy, I wasn't driving. Somebody else was driving. Had that shit bumping.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, we could speak about Migos too, but.
We already did.
They're just at a crossroads.
Okay.
It's too much of the same stuff.
All right, so I hope you and Mike will end this right here. I don't think
maybe not.
I don't think
Yo,
this needs to drag on
maybe we
any
should turn
further.
up.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
that's not
Michael,
turn
listen,
up.
Michael, I ain't trying, I do love you. I'm
There's-
glad looking at this camera.
No, he's trying to clean this shit up.
No.
There's mutual respect
Wait,
here.
no. There's a mutual respect, but listen, I might need a beef from you, motherfucker, so you know.
Suck his
He's
shit.
not the one to beef with.
Suck his
You
shit.
gotta pick someone with pink dreads. All right, so let's talk about. So we know that Meek Mill's team has been trying really hard to get the judge to recuse herself. They think she's been biased. Accuse her of trying to get Meek to fire his management at Roc Nation and get back with Charlie Mack, who has denied that. So they said that court transcripts would prove the bias. They were released, and people said they don't prove what his team is saying. So one of his defense attorneys went up to the Angie Martinez show to go through those documents and try to show some proof.
Hey, girl.
Let's take a look.
What is the thinking that the judge has some sort of business with Charlie Mack or some sort of friendship or affiliation? Is that what the concern is? Or
I don't know the answer to that, Angie,
Okay.
but I would ask you and I would ask your listeners to take a look at these transcripts and ask themselves that question.
Okay.
Because what we see repeatedly is not just a request by the judge or the district attorney or the probation officer for Meek to replace his management. Perhaps they felt for whatever reason that his management wasn't doing the right thing.
Got it.
Which
it wasn't like she was saying, try some other different management. She was like, try Charlie Mack. It was very specific.
Time,
right?
again, specifically meant.
All right, so he did go through the transcript and tried to point out incidents that would show bias. After watching this whole interview, do you guys feel like now Meek's team really has a case here?
You've got a lot to say, and you've got a lot invested in this. So if I can just spit something out here real fast. Salute to Angie Martinez. We work together, and she looks great, sounds great. This is not her area of expertise. She's known for gossip, and she even stated that early in this interview. Meek Mill's lawyer, in my opinion, is playing a dangerous game right now with somebody's name, Charlie Mack. Charlie Mack is certified, qualified, and bona fide in Philly. And it's a dangerous game. But take it away, and I just want to ask you, because I've been watching your clips on your YouTube channel. Do you think Meek is lying?
So, number one, first of all, anytime I see a lawyer at a radio station
Right.
or someone in the press to
Right.
give statements, it means they're moving their arguments from the judicial court straight into the court.
Right,
of
and that's
public opinion.
crazy.
And one of the most egregious attempts at that was I always flash back to remember Max B's lawyer doing the whole interview.
Yeah.
And I think that was the moment you were like, this won't end well.
That can piss off the DA's office, and that
Absolutely.
can add more charges. But okay, you've got a lot to say here, I know.
So once I saw this, I'm like, okay, so now they're really just trying to control public opinion, right? So this is a court of public opinion. The main assertions that they said that the judge apparently asked Meek to do, or like, hey, you got to do a song, you got to do a
Right.
Boyz II Men cover, you got to give me a shout out, leave Rock Nation
They
for
weren't in
him.
the transcripts.
They weren't there. They weren't there. Instead, this lawyer, what he did show is that the judge clearly was trying to say to Meek, hey, if you're having trouble with this process and I could only benchmark you having trouble since you changed management, what's going on there?
Yeah.
She never really pushed him in any direction, but she constantly did. And it wasn't really the judge, too. So whoever made
Also,
that.
the assistant district attorney, it sounds like, right?
Yes, the assistant district attorney and also the probation officers talked about how they had a easier time dealing with Meek's last management. Again, is that kind of borderline being inappropriate? I kind of think it is. But is that really telling him to do things that would be completely biased, or they have some type of hidden agenda where they're trying to get Charlie Mack
Right.
back with Meek? I don't think so. And this lawyer going up there, I thought he was about to really expose the legal system on some shit like, yo, they're not showing the whole thing. And instead, I heard more propaganda to spin public opinion.
As you said, people, we use this term expose a lot. And that's what he's doing. He's going to a radio station and he's somewhat trying to expose Charlie Mack. And it could be fucking up Charlie Mack's money. Now, Charlie Mack is connected to A-list celebrities. And as we said before when we addressed this, I think last week, Philly's a small town. It's a dangerous town. It really, really is. And I just think that Meek or his team really needs to think before they keep going down this path of Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack, Charlie Mack. And I'm not trying to incite nothing or promote nothing, but let me just finish this point. DJ Cosmic Kev, because Philly is such a tense town, he doesn't even play beef records on the air, because when shit gets lit, it gets lit that fast in the town. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you because, even through my research and stuff, like, I did research Charlie Mack, but it seems like you know more knowledge about him.
I met him a couple times.
Is he just a manager? What is he? Is he more than that? What could you say on? Okay, all right. I'm going to just take that spin as
I
he's the
think,
guy.
In street terms, Charlie Mack could pull $50K out of his sock if need be.
Okay, all right.
And that's not the type of person you want to fuck with his money. So
But is that his reputation? Because people
No,
also
I
know
don't
him
put
for
that out
working
there,
with
but
A-list.
I don't put that out there, but if you got a lawyer going to a radio station
And yet, and Charlie Mack's name came up quite a few there.
and you dump it on the guy. Now, the reason why I asked you is do you think Meek is lying? Because, sometimes, even though you may not want to go to jail, you have to go to jail. You know what I mean? Philly's a really, really weird town, and a lot of their rappers have been known for snitching. I interviewed Tommy Butter once upon a time. He's taking a dirt nap right now over some bullshit, but it's tricky. That's all I'll say.
Again, I'm not gonna throw it on Meek. Again, his lawyers are paid to get him out of jail, but I guess you could say the lawyers are an extension of him. But sometimes a lawyer might do some things on your behalf, or even present certain things, file motions that they're just trying to they're trying to do their job. The lawyers on his behalf who made these claims clearly were doing it really for public opinion. Like, and again,
Sadly.
it's worked.
Sadly.
It's worked where we've seen rallies, we've seen a lot of people being vocal saying this is injustice.
But
and again,
the public court of public opinion, the actual court system, really not so connected. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
and-
mean? So if you're saying they should be careful now and slow down, can they even slow down or backtrack? I feel like at this point they've gone far enough.
this
that you
is
have to,
I don't know, because once you put certain wheels into motion on a federal level, then even if Meek Mill said, hey, call it off, just like that, it could already be a process. Because now we're talking about Charlie Mack, who's a convicted felon, having influence with a federal judge. That could be an investigation. Well, it is an investigation. And it could go after him, so to speak.
if this case wasn't already personal between the judge and Meek, it definitely is now, right? You got to keep in mind the claims that's being made saying the judge is saying certain things. At one point, and this is why I had a gut feeling that when the information came out, the transcripts came out, we weren't going to see direct requests to say, hey, do a song, give me a shout out. Hey, you should probably leave your management for this guy.
Right.
You know why? Because the judge it went to a higher court, and the judge said, hey, we could release the whole transcript. And Meek's team said no. That came out. That was a little bit telling to me. I'm like, why if that's the thing that could vindicate you and kind of get people to realize that the judge is corrupt, why wouldn't you want that to be like exposed and open to the public. So that was like a first red flag. But even how his lawyers have been maneuvering through it, it feels like it's more of public opinion than actually trying to get him out. And maybe like public pressure bills. However, at this point, could this judge even really deal with Meek in a fair way? So that's what I'm saying, it's going too far. With all these accusations made, whether they're true or not, could this judge still deal with Meek? Because the judge usually stays. Tell me if I'm incorrect. The judge usually stays with you on that particular case for the duration of your probation.
Yes,
right?
unless he or she is removed from the case.
Or they recuse themselves.
And let me just say, I've met Meek a few times. I like him, and he's a likable guy, and his fans in that town, his friends, they have the right to want his release because he's been on parole for like a lot of years. So yes, nobody wants to keep having to go back in and out of the system. He's done some great things, and he continues to do things. Charities in Philly, and I think the Eagles using one of his songs for their rally song.
Dreams and Nightmare intro, man. That's the joint.
But Charlie Mack made it known, I don't know the judge. So now, again, if we're going to, or if his lawyer's going to keep putting Charlie Mack's name in this, I think it's dangerous.
I hope they have another angle to get him out. Again, I think everyone would admit that the 2 infractions that resulted in the last probation violation that got him sent to jail, they were kind of minor. They were minor, but I've always just said he was found to have violating this probation a couple of times. More than, in my opinion, more than the average person who's not super rich and wealthy and well-known would probably get. So, again, it sucks, but I think his lawyer probably should look at a different angle and try to get him out.
Do you think he should do any jail time, Meek Mill? Because you've been following this, I guess, more than me.
I really can't speak on that. You know why? Because I don't know how, it feels like the judge does take certain things personal. So I agree with that. The judge does take certain things personal when he disses a judge, which of course, it's not that smart anyway. If you diss a judge on your song and tell a DA to suck you or whatever, you know what I mean? And they bring that up to your next court hearing, hey, they're going to probably feel a type of way. Like, yo, you just dissed me on a song that every time when I pass the hood, everybody's playing. So I think he learned that early. He did that years ago. And of course, I could see it from even Meek's perspective. I don't only want to just look at it like I can't understand where he's coming from too. Because even though we're not getting the full proof of the judge asking him for these things, the fucking court clerk looked at him and said, yo, my son's getting kicked out of school. Could I get some money? If I'm going to court for my like freedom,
let me hold something.
And the clerk is begging me for money. Hold something. And you got to imagine, just in the whole justice system, I don't care if the clerk only push paper and just type shit up. She on that side. So if that side is asking me for money, and of course me can't give up a goddamn coin to her, and then I get sent to jail, I might start thinking like, nah, man, like the fix was in.
I think he's done enough jail time. And that's just being objective. Never mind the fact that we've met a few times. I think he's done enough jail time. I think that there's other people that go through far worse in that system in Pennsylvania as a whole. And I think that's where the focus should be. And hopefully Meek, when he gets out, whenever that is, he can work to help fix that broken system.
Hopefully.
If I had to make a prediction, I think he catches a break within the next year. He's sentenced to 2 to 4, but I don't see him doing 2. And definitely,
so he gets to come home early. Okay.
Which would be good. He got a 6-year-old son, which is, I could imagine his whole family and team are missing him. Yeah.
All right, guys, so it's only a matter of time before someone responded to Offset's comment saying that Migos is the biggest group ever. Now, remember, he told Big Boy, quote, so we're the biggest group ever in pop, hip hop, all of that, because every genre of music right now is structured off us. Turk from the Hot Boys, absolutely not amused by this. He went on a little Instagram rant. Let's take a look.
For a nigga to say, they the best group ever. Not the best group right now that's doing their thing, but the best group ever. Man, that's some real disrespectful ass, foul ass shit right there, you did. So I wouldn't be right. Me being in a group that was big that niggas emulate to this day, including the motherfucking Migos, you feel me? Including the Migos. for a nigga to be
All right, so this is Turk basically acknowledging that Migos is talented, that they're doing big things right now, but he's just not having it, that they can't be the biggest group ever. He actually tells Offset he wants him to retract your words about that, man. I think y'all are great, y'all are the culture, but you're not the biggest group ever. First of all, what is the percentage chance Offset would retract this statement?
I don't think he should. Again, when we touched on this, a couple of shows back, I said I didn't have a problem with what Offset said because that's hip hop, just being boisterous,
Word.
And saying reckless shit, and it's not that deep, But salute to Turk, who went to the penitentiary, came out, and he's not jaded and bitter. I mean, in the video, he's talking to Offset. He's not doing the other sucker shit that Fat Joe did to Lil Uzi Vert, just saying he's a whack version or bad version of Lil Tucci. He took his time and he kept saying, I'm not trying to come at you, homie, yada, yada, yada. I can appreciate what Turk said, and I think if anybody can, kick it to Offset in that fashion, it's Turk, and I think he did it well.
Yeah, salute to Turk on this, and by the way, he is right, the Migos, if we're just being objective.
But that's the thing, it's like
That's
obviously.
that's if we're being objective. But I'm not gonna lie, man. If I'm Offset, man, I'm doubling down. Listen, this is the Migos time right now. I'm doubling down if I'm Offset.
Why
I'm
are
owning
rap
it.
groups even, if he's saying period, pop, like where's NSYNC and Backstreet Boys? Like there are a lot of other people who should be mad about
Fuck 'em.
this.
Fuck 'em.
I
Fuck
think
'em.
we
This is your
all know
moment
that
now.
Offset was high on something.
I don't think he was high.
No, I think it's like
allegedly.
you said. It's,
No, I
it's
think
rap,
he's in
you brag.
he's in his moment, and,
Yeah.
and
His
shit.
moment.
When you're in your bag, you the best. And again,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think this starts a better conversation because at first the Migos was like a weird thing when they first kind of came out because groups weren't that popular anymore, and they were trying to be a group, and people were saying, okay, when are you guys gonna break up? But they happen to be family. Shoot, they didn't get to be on the XXL freshman list just because they were a group, and even the editors over there said, well, we don't know what to do with them because they're a group, they're not a solo artist. So they've been a little bit different. I think they're now starting a different conversation by saying this. Clearly, Turk, you have a great point. Offset still shouldn't back down because I do think it adds on to the legend of the Migos.
Word.
Like the Migos, like I don't know if it got spawned from Twitter or whatever, but it was a saying that the Migos are better than the Beatles, and they owned it. And it kind of adds on to people just really rocking with them. Now we see like they're doing Lion King stuff. Turk wasn't the only person who responded. Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Right.
He responded as well. I think he also mentioned me, and he said, I think he said, I didn't know no better.
Thirsty for another shout out.
No. But he was discussing it. And,
Okay.
and again, this is why I'm saying it's important. Because I do think groups are a under-discussed portion of hip-hop.
Right.
We always talk about what's your top five, what's this, what's that. But a lot of times we just look at groups and we either extrapolate that one dope member or the lead member, and we forget about the group. And for people like Turk and Busy Bone, like, for that comment to be made and a discussion not be had, it would be blasphemous. So I'm glad both of them spoke up, but I'm still not telling Offset to shut up. I'm telling Offset, double down.
Okay.
I think they should make a song out of this shit.
So if Offset doesn't clarify his statements, which is what Turk is in seek of,
Right.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
then what?
Then the Migos is the best group of all time ever.
No. Well, like, again, you know what I mean? Only people who probably believe that are the people who are stuck in this generation and their fans. And that's who they really care about. So, again, I think they should start discussion in general. Like, how do we rank really all the groups? Like, where does we could credit the Migos, and I think that's also been a talk, right? The Migos triplet flow. A lot of people say, well, that little Versace flow you guys had, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, they were doing it before.
Right.
When they make this claim, I think we could have further discussion. But I do think discussion is good for the culture. Offset's an artist. He's going to think he's the best. Busy Bone, or if we're talking about Turk, they're supposed to look at what they've done. And, of course, like, their writing's already up there. Their jersey's already in the rafters. One thing I will say, the Migos, they still have a long way to go. They still have a long way to go. But, shit, while they're on the court and they're crossing niggas up, you know what I mean? If they scream out, I'm the best, fuck it, let it rock. Okay?
You use the word culture again. And not that I'm so stuck on this, but, cultures have guidelines, rules, parameters, and a council, if you will. That's what cultures have. And hip-hop had that coming out of the gate with Zulu Nation, KRS-One, and a host of others whose names I'm forgetting right now. But it became more mainstream, more corporate, and I always refer to it as a genre, not to denounce, the beauty of hip-hop, not to to denounce it. But in a situation like this, should there be some type of counsel, somebody to speak up on behalf of what Offset said, or is it not that deep?
What do you mean? Well, I think it's
Well,
really
when you say culture,
Yeah.
is there someone to speak on behalf of the culture to just do whatever, to speak up and say, hey, the guy's not crazy, he's young, and just move on? Or does hip hop not even need that? Is it too complex?
I mean, shows like this is a council. Like us having this discussion where, again, it's influential to the masses. They're gonna listen to it, and someone might be like, "Fuck, are we talking about the Migos in terms of the best group ever?" And some people might be like, Offset is a guy. You know what I mean? So,
But I also agree with what you just said. You know, today's generation doesn't give a fuck about yesterday's generation. Yeah. There are people right now who will think, and who are we to say that they're crazy, that think Lil Tucci, Lil Wayne is better than Rakim.
Yeah.
There are people who truly, truly believe that.
Right.
And I don't know if I would necessarily say you're stupid and you're wrong, because it's a different day and time, if that makes any sense.
Sure,
of
it's like
course.
the person you grew up with, you're going to have a special attachment to
Right.
them. You can't recreate that.
Right.
You know?
So.
And again, you know what? Well, when we went through this whole saga, I guess, which turned into a saga, I guess, with the Migos, I made the claim. I said the Migos was my favorite rap group. There isn't
Ever?
He reminds
I
us
didn't say
very
ever.
often.
No, I didn't say ever. I said they're my favorite rap group. And I mean, just being honest, looking at the landscape today, is that such a like some people who weren't? I don't want to say they weren't of today. They looked at that as that was ridiculous. But what other rap groups are really out there that's really making an impact and doing a lot? I don't want to start naming everyone because someone's going to say I forget their name. But
if we can just drag this out just a little bit more, who would be your favorite rap group of all time? Group.
I'm going to go with Outkast and Mobb Deep. I'm going to go with Outkast.
Just one. Just give me one.
Okay, Outkast.
Outkast. For what reason?
I think just their musical impact is it far surpasses what anyone else does. And I mean, of course, you have Andre 3000, who is so diverse.
Okay.
I think they brought a different style to the game, which I think pretty much people start to adopt, and they hate on it at first, right? When they first came to New York, getting booed on that
But you
shit,
said
but
musical impact.
Yeah, musical impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, who do you think?
I'm very much of the now. I don't really like a lot of old school hip hop.
You think the Migos the best?
No. Hang on. But if I had to look at I'm going to say greatest rap group, not just musical impact, but social impact, I would have to say Public Enemy.
Okay.
Okay.
Toward the world.
Okay.
And represented hip hop across the fucking board, and made people on different parts of the world respect it here in America. I don't think anybody could denounce their impact socially. Musically, if you say Outkast, okay. But I would say Public Enemy, not to go so far back.
Two great picks. I don't think anyone can debate. But just for the record, this debate about Migos being the biggest group ever is the funniest thing of all time. It's amazing that we can have a deep conversation.
Offset was
about
high.
this.
He was high on something.
Well, I can tell you
Let
this.
it go.
But
These days, and I know you say the father of trolling, but these days, troll-like comments like that really play well.
Right.
That's a marketing thing for the Migos now.
Yeah.
Like, again, as ridiculous as you may think it sounds, if I'm the Migos, I'm rocking with that now. I'm repping it even more.
Good for
Right,
them.
right.
All right, so of course Kendrick put out a phenomenal album last year that he picked up a few Grammys for, but now the Black Panther soundtrack is coming February 9th and we get more music from Kendrick, so he shared the track list on Twitter. So this is curated and produced by Kendrick himself and TDE president Top Dog. We're gonna get 3 additional new songs from Kendrick in addition to the 2 that were already out. Features from people like SZA, The Weeknd, Travis Scott. This is amazing. So a few things here. 1, does this have the potential to be one of the best rap movie soundtracks? And 2, how good of a look is this for TDE? Coming off such a great year for Kendrick, giving us new music, but packaging it with a big film. Pretty dope.
I mean, most of the acts on here are TDE artists. I think this is going to be phenomenal, truth be told. I think Black Panther, the movie, kind of represents...
Perfectly aligns with Kendrick's brand.
It represents really the renaissance of usually superhero movies. We're not really seeing African Americans being represented in the way that we want to. So for the soundtrack to feature Kendrick Lamar and all the TD artists, people who have really championed for that just within society. I think that's
And
great.
not to just feature, but to have them actually curate and produce it.
Of course,
It's
and it looks
amazing.
like it's a mix of everything. Kendrick is great at giving us a little bit of the woke shit and a little bit of the bullshit. You get me? And I'm looking at the track list here, and of course, there's other people beyond just TDE artists. Like, for example, Vince Staples on the list.
Word.
He got a song called Ops. I could tell that's a favorite already. I ain't even hear it. You get me? I can imagine. I'm expecting a lot from this. Sometimes it's hard to look at a lineup because that's what a track list is. And you're looking at song titles that you have no idea what it might be about because it just might be a title. But this looks good. Again, will it play to the tone of the movie? I'm not too sure exactly what the tone of the movie is going to be, but if I'm just judging off paper, if you throw Kendrick, SZA, Vince Staples, there's no name on here, I'm like, how the hell he get on here?
Word.
This seems like a dope lineup. So
Somewhere, Lupe Fiasco is hating right now. That's just on some sucker shit, pardon me.
is he on it?
No, he's not. No, I'm just talking about Kendrick Lamar doing the thing and
I
Lupe hating on Kendrick. Anyway, I can't say that I'm so much anticipating any of the tracks, but this film is going to be huge. Huge. This has spilled over into people that aren't even into the whole comic hero world on film. I want to go see this film. I saw the trailer and I said, wow, that looks some hot shit. So as far as the soundtrack, I don't know. I don't think
if
that
the movie is huge, right? Isn't the soundtrack just by nature would be huge too? Like think about what
not necessarily. I've seen some soundtracks flop, but
the
the
movie did
film
great?
itself, what's that?
the movie did great.
I've seen that happen. Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Do you like what we heard so far? So like the Kendrick and SZA track, coming off of Damn. I don't know if you were a fan of that album at all. What do you think
bits
about
and pieces of it, and I'm not mad at Kendrick. This is his time, and you would be a fool to deny that he's humble in his approach. He says the right things when he gets his awards, and I can't, just talk reckless about the guy. But in terms of the soundtrack itself, I'm gonna wait. Yeah. I've seen some horrible soundtracks. The Batman soundtrack with Prince years ago, that was fucking horrible.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to see, or I'm interested to see who has that one record that kind of just skyrockets if it is gonna blow up. Just like that record, remember what Wiz Khalifa did for Fast and Furious? That was the one, and that did wonders for his career.
Right.
I'm wondering if does Kendrick have that particular song? Is it another song with someone else? That will be the test of seeing how much Kendrick expands his sound, because I would imagine, and this is just me as a fan thinking, right? A movie soundtrack, when you're crafting that, and it's not just your audience who expects a certain content, you got to be a little bit more open. You got to be a little bit more, let's say, pop,
Right.
as opposed to your records. And by the way, his last album, Damn, which was highly awarded, was a great mix between pop but not sellout.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm excited about it.
Me
I'm
too.
excited about it.
February 9th.
I'm sorry, you into the comic book films?
Not, like superhero shit.
You sure?
Well, I don't really read comic books. I never read.
Okay.
So
me neither, but I was just, I know you're on Twitch.
Avengers and all that shit. Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, young lady?
I watch stuff on Netflix, like all the Marvel shows and stuff, but I don't read it either.
Okay.
Yeah, the Superman and Batman movies, those are trash. But
Always.
But
Always.
they are.
The TV shows.
They're
the TV
usually
shows
super
can be,
trash. Yo.
can be pretty
Superman
good.
like the wackest dude out there, yo, and he's like the most powerful. But if you look at it, the Avengers thing with the Hulk.
Come on, the hate.
This subjective hate I'm spinning there.
I agree with you. I'm saying, come on with it.
That Avengers shit they got cooking up, they threw Spider-Man in there, Black Panther.
Total bullshit.
Yo, no, total greatness. Like, this shit is good.
You liked it now?
No, the Avengers. The Avengers.
Oh, the Avengers, okay.
I'm talking about like Batman and Superman. Them shits is whack. Them shits is super whack. But if you get into the Avengers field where you have 4 superheroes, they threw Iron Man up
I
in
don't
that
fuck
bitch.
with none of it.
You don't fuck with none of it?
I like the Iron Man films,
Hmm.
but the rest of that shit's garbage. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And when you say
Thor.
that, people come for you.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's
yeah.
a huge community.
It's a deep community.
Yeah,
they catch you at Comic-Con, they're fucking you up. Comic-Con.
All right, so our girl Cardi B just having the time of her life.
Hey, girl.
So she's in a new Super Bowl commercial for Amazon's Alexa. Honestly, this is pretty funny. So it's her and a lot of big stars like Anthony Hopkins. Quite the honor. Alexa loses her voice, and this is what happens. Let's take a look.
Alexa, how far is Mars?
How far is Mars? Well, how am I supposed to know? I've never been there. This guy want to go to Mars. For what? There's not even oxygen there.
Guys, Cardi's getting Super Bowl commercial checks. Just think about that.
She deserves
how
it.
big that check is. She does.
Great personality. Great personality, and that goes a long way.
I love Cardi B so much because she's winning in mainstream America and she's not compromising herself. Like, she'll do that, and she was definitely on Instagram the next day and saying, you bitches still could get this hit.
Right.
And when someone doesn't compromise themselves and their true personality plays from their core audience to mainstream audience loving them, they come off as humorous, fun, they come off as someone who's just entertaining overall, even beyond music, right? I think this kind of shows that she probably has a career so even if, which I don't think this is the case at all, like say her music career ended in 2-3 years, I do think she could bring her shenanigans. She was already on Love and Hip Hop. She could definitely bring it to scripted TV and shoot even movies. She's tremendously talented, and I root inside for her every single time. Like we had a conversation recently, just through DMs, where I was basically saying like she is every creator that didn't come up through the system. She is me. She is everyone else who didn't get handpicked and kind of pushed along the way because the people chose her. And she's now making such an impact where it's giving everyone hope. Of course, it's giving all the strippers at Starless hope too, but it's definitely giving every content creator, that's you. Again, and I know people have a lot of criticisms of her, but again, you're gonna get those along the way. I think she's phenomenal.
Especially people could criticize all they want. If you're getting Super Bowl checks, does it really matter? I'd say no.
A lot of people right after Bodak Yellow were saying she's a one-hit wonder. That was like, on social media, she should be finished, in 1 year. And I was.
Can I be honest?
Well, hang on. I was looking at her personality. I said, that's a hot bitch. Just the whole package. And I was rooting for her. The hater was rooting for Cardi B. So I like to see her do stuff like this, and I think she's a natural. I mean, I hope she gets rid of that big ass tattoo on her leg. But I think this is a great look for her. You were saying?
I always thought she was charismatic. And by the way, when you said that there were people who thought she was a one-hit wonder,
They were saying that, literally.
I mean, shoot, I was one of them. When I first heard her music, this is before Bodak Yellow, I was like, it wasn't connecting with me. I did see an audience it was connecting with, but it was like ratchet chicks, yo. Like ratchet chicks love Cardi B. I'm sorry, Cardi. If you watch, I'm sorry. They
wrong with that.
But once she got Bodak Yellow, I said, ooh, this is the one. This is gonna go bigger. Became a #1, but I was like, could you do it again? Now, I think I realized rather quickly that the resources that Atlantic has behind her, like, she can't be a one-hit wonder. And also, the features that she gave us just keep wowing us. You know what I mean? When she's having a standout, you want to tell me she doesn't have the standout on the
Bruno?
on the
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, well, Bruno, yeah, that's one of the latest ones, but No Limit. What else? She was on.
So you're a Cardi B.
I'm a Cardi B
bandwagon dick rider now, yes?
Not a dick rider, but I'm a Cardi B bandwagon fan. And also,
you can admit that.
I found different reasons why I'm just rooting for her. As I said, she's a content creator who came up off, and she was doing Instagram
Axe sees
jokes.
himself in Cardi B. That's what
she was
he's
doing
trying to tell you.
she was one of them.
But
chicks.
you were hating off the top, and now you're
I don't know if he was hating. I feel like
he
he
just
just
admitted.
was.
Okay. I don't know if you call it hate, but I didn't like the music. The music didn't do anything for me. So if you call that hate, fine. You're like Mike Will, low key. Michael thought the criticism was hate, but whatever. I mean, if you think it's hate, it's cool.
Yeah, she's gonna have another big year ahead of her. Gentlemen, that's our show. Unless we have any final comments.
Yeah, one more time.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're done.
Oh, okay.
You good, Ak? You gonna make your flight on time?
I should make my flight on time. It's only 38 minutes we spent on this joke. We should be good.
What are you doing out there?
Having a couple of meetings.
Come on, man, spill it.
Nah, man.
Talk to your team, the chat niggas. Tell them what you're doing.
No, they know what I'm doing. I mean, I've mentioned before, but I won't pinpoint it today. Nothing, no more. Listen, one thing I am guilty of is diarrhea of the mouth sometimes. I get on my Twitch shit and the Henny's in hand, and I'm telling everything. This time around, because there might be deals involved, I'll speak when the ink is dried.
Moving in silence.
Look at that growing up.
Yeah, I'm growing up. I have grown. I do think.
Guys, thank you for watching Everyday Struggle on Complex News.